next Monday. I don't know why. This camera from time to time is okay. Hello. How are you? I hope you are fine. So we are starting finally next week, and this is very important stream because we finally managed to finish last week define and measure phase. So we are already after two very important first steps in a Lean Six Sigma project. You may think always, you will notice from the moment you will start the Lean Six Sigma projects, you will find that these two first phases may not be so interesting. Actually, they are boring and nothing is happening. Everything what is really important, you think it may happen only in the analyze phase. But there is a lot of no. This is a wrong approach, because only when you will be able to create and finish properly the define and analyze phase, you will benefit at the measure phase. So please do not think that you will be an effective Lean Six Sigma project leader without focusing enough on define and measure phase. Every phase in the DMAIC project is very important, and you have to stick to what we discussed previously very close. Otherwise, you will simply not deliver. You will not feel yourself as the productive project leader, as well as your customers will see no value in your work. And the most important thing is always to satisfy both parties. I mean, you have to be satisfied. You have to see for yourself the results of your projects, especially when you do, I mean, anytime, doesn't matter who is your customer, who is the sponsor. If you would like to be a good Lean Six Sigma green belt or black belt, you have to always put the results and effectiveness and the results of your project on top of all what you do. This is your main goal. And everyone will value you, anyone will see you only through the results of your project. Of course, you have to remember that the results are not the financial one, but of course also in how the people value and see the changes, how the changes are implemented, the change in the culture, the change in the communication, the change in the behavior, everything. I mean, when you enter the company, when you're starting to do your Lean Six Sigma project, you are a big influencer. You like the influencers on YouTube, you like the influencers on the Facebook, you like influencers on the Instagram. You may be the biggest influencers in the area when you enter with your Lean Six Sigma project. And you have to see yourself in such a way. So, and to be a successful influencer, you have to talk clearly, you have to have an open mind, you have to talk about why you do this, how you are going to do this. You have to manage the changes, you have to manage the awareness. So you have to be a very effective communicator, because you know the influencer is nothing more than person who can easily communicate and have an impact with the words. Okay, they are supporting with the face, with the gestures, with the pictures, with the message, but the communication is the most important now, the most important one. Do you agree? Okay, so what we will start now, as I told you already, we finished the measure and analyze phase, and the measure and analyze phase where we have our project. Okay, so you see this is the brief summary of the DMAIC. So define, measure, done, pack. And now we are entering the analyze phase, and this is the phase when we should ask our first question, very important, which is why. Why is happening? And do you know this question why? To what we address? This question why we address, of course, to the problem. The problem we have very clearly identified and stated during define and measure. I will just remind you. You remember whoever and whenever anyone will come to you. Sorry, I'm lost a little bit, but you know what I mean. Whenever someone will come to you with the statement, hey you, there's a problem, you have to deal with it. to be a very effective and good Lean Six Sigma black belt or green belt, you should not start analyzing the problems straight away. You always have to say, yes, of course, I understand, but let's follow the Lean Six Sigma methodology and way of working and philosophy. Before we engage anyone else, before we start the project, before we do and spend some money, we have to ask ourselves two main questions. One, how it should be, and who is saying so? Do we have this on some paper? Do we have some written on the agreement, on email or whatever? And who is saying so? So who is the real customer and what is he saying honestly and truly? So this is the define phase. And so this is the first question. The second question is, of course, how it is in reality. So you go to Gemba, you collect the data, you look at the numbers, you show the numbers in the graphical form, you look at the continuous data, you look at the statistics, you look how it is, and then only after define the measure, you can you can finally confirm and say to the whole organization, to anyone, without any worries, without any doubts, yes, that's a problem. And now there is no other way than to deal with it, continue with the project, and if we will not do this, we will lose the money, what I have just stated in the define phase. This is simple like that. So you see, there is a great logic behind the Lean Six Sigma methodology. I was struggling before looking for certain approach to the problem solving, like for example ADD. AD is not bad. Actually, AD is very good. Very good if you would like to attack a very small project that you have no enough resources and time. You have to do it very quick with the team, and you do some kind of Kaizen effect with the AD. So AD is not bad. What I miss a little bit in AD, and it depends, and perhaps it depends on from company to company. Of course, what you can add to AD is some financial impact at the beginning. So you have to calculate how much does it cost to the company, and then it's more close to Lean Six Sigma. And of course, what is also missing in AD is the statistical analysis. But the AD, DMAIC, also A3. All the other root cause problem solvings are all of them are based on PDCA. So anyway, you will find all this never ending and all these steps of problem solving, which is plan, do, check, and act. So anyway, before in DMAIC project, before you start to analyze, you are verifying if the problem is really a problem, and this is the main purpose of define and measure phase. Okay, so great. So what will happen in the analyze phase? So in analyze phase, in general, what we have to do, we already managed to collect some facts and figures. Yes. So we have facts. Facts. We have some figures. We have some data. We have some proofs. Yeah, so we have some numbers. We have some graphs. We have some pictures. Yes. So this is actually what has happened when the officer, detective, how you call them in English? Yeah, I think so. Is going to the crime scene, and he is collecting all the evidences. Yes, more evidences we collect, more sure we feel before asking the questions what has happened and why. So with all this informations, more you collect, the better analyze is. It's always like that. You should not jump into analyze phase straight away. You have to spend and dedicate some time in looking at how it is, go to the Gemba, listen to the people, collect some numbers, look through statistical tools for the numbers, try to see some patterns, try to understand, like in Matrix, try to see the blondies and all the important and aspects behind the numbers. And then, by the way, and then you start to ask your questions. And by the way, I have also another question, by the way, question to you. Come on, I don't want to add a comment. I want to add a picture. Yes. Okay. So, this is good moment to start our first question. And of course, in this phase, this is the question why. And okay, good. And I don't know if you have noticed this yourself. By the way, if we look at our Gantt shift, how can I erase this? Can I erase this? Good. I done. Okay. So if we look at our Google spreadsheet, our project book, you remember? We are constantly step by step building also the universal Lean Six Sigma Green Belt project book for everyone who would like to start your own project and start to really deliver the results. So this is what we have to do. We have to look at the Google spreadsheet. By the way, did I link no, I didn't post the link to this. So I will do right now. No, really, I will do right now. You see, I will, what I will do, move, not move, file, publish to the web. No, I think there is notification. No, it should be somewhere here. Oh, no. Go back. I think I have it here. So, insert link, no. File. Add shortcut to drive. What I want, okay, add shortcut to drive. No. Okay, get shareable link. And now I'm going to our great Facebook. So let's do like this for a moment. Not to look at my private Facebook. Great. So okay, the mod international. And I will just post this here. Okay, so you should be able to use this. We creating during mod way streamings. Okay. By the way, I have to also look at the YouTube. Is anyone following us on YouTube? Yes, one watching. Thank you very much. By the way, I have to also look at the YouTube. What is this? Is anyone following us? Why is FMI jajeczna? What's happening? Update. YouTube. What is this? Is anyone following us? Why is FMI? This was like a small disaster. I'm sorry for that. It should not happen like this. I just forgot to update all. But anyway, I will update this later on. It should not be like that. I'm sorry. To watching. And how you can watch? Okay, my mistake. Anyway, So here's the link to the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt project book we created during Modway streaming. Great. So now I will check the spelling, and okay, everything is good. Streaming. Okay, and now here's the link. Great. And publish. So you should have it already on the Facebook. And if you have any doubts, so you can simply look at this, download, use so far. So the measure and now define and measure is finished. You see it already here? No, see it already here. Okay. So why I jumped to the Google spreadsheet file? Because when we are talking about the analyze phase and the question why, I told you already that we have to be prepared with some numbers, facts and figures. Sorry, proofs, numbers, graphs, pictures, and this is nothing more than what we already have in our Google spreadsheet. There is nothing more. Look, you remember I pointed very clearly during the measure phase that whenever we show something like this graphs, you have to look for the differences and similarities. Or for example, this graph. Or for example, this flowchart. And again, how the project looks like compared with known standards. So all these findings, you have it already here. You should present during this analysis phase at the beginning. Yes, everything what you have collected here. This is like a very great and starting point for anyone to look for the answer why. And my question is, have you ever did you ever try to find an answer which actually was difficult for you to solve the problem that was actually difficult for you to find an answer why it's happening on your own? So you were trying to thinking why and moment, okay, 17. So why, and you were starting to find an answer. It was not possible because you feel somehow you are blocked, you can't find any answer. And then you are going to your friend, next desk, it could be next office, and say, hey Frank, you know, I have problems, I don't know how to solve this, and you're trying to tell the problem, and just after a few words you say, oh no, okay, sorry, I know it, thank you very much, don't bother, I know it already, thank you very much, bye bye. So I spot myself very often having being in such a situation. The explanation to this is, when you're asking the question only in your head, in your mind, the question is, rotating in the same environment all the time, and it's not going through new processes. So it's like repeated, only repeating it will give you nothing. You have to pass this question through slightly different processes and part of your brain. And once you say it loud and you hear the question with you, with your own words, your brain, now this question and this problem is going through totally different parts of your brain. And this is why you're starting to analyze this from slightly different perspective. And very often you find an answer because you just, touch a different part of your brain, which was not happening before when you were just looking in the ceiling and asking the same question only in your mind. So this is very important, that more important question you're trying to get answer, you have to say it loudly. You see, I'm streaming for a quite long time so already, and even I have no possibility to hear your answers and talk to you. Okay, sometimes you put your comments, that's great, but even if I cannot listen to you, all my thoughts are going to the wall, bumping back and going to me, and I hear myself much more louder than I think to myself. So I really encourage myself and how to say, not only encourage, but stimulate myself, stimulate my brain with a totally different signals. And this is why very often I'm coming to a slightly different solutions and ideas, just because I tell it loudly to you and also to me. So this is very important to engage someone, engage other parts of the brain when you are looking for this kind of very important answers for your questions. And in the Lean Six Sigma, we go even further. We are not only asking these questions loudly to ourselves, we ask these questions in the team. So we are trying to engage other brains as well, not only our own. This is why we have to invite the people, ask them to sit together, and simply you start a brainstorm session. A brainstorm session, you may be surprised, but this is not only the way to find solutions. The brainstorm session is actually generally the way to find answers. And what you are looking for depends only on the questions you are asking. So if you are asking the why question, you are getting some probably root causes. If you are asking the question how, you are getting the solutions. So depending on the questions, you are using the brainstorm session for different purposes, and this is fine, of course. And this is what we do also in Lean Six Sigma. Look, we have these two big questions, the why and the how. And in both situations, we use the brainstorm session to blow our minds and to blow other minds that are participating in the team. And this is the great advantage of applying as well the Lean Six Sigma. And also, you remember I was mentioning very often that Lean Six Sigma is developing any company, is making the culture more effective, making the way people are working, co-working, collaborating together is more effective. And this is one of the reasons why Lean Six Sigma is improving all I mentioned before. Because Lean Six Sigma is focusing on the teamwork. Every big question is answered in the team. And you have to learn how to organize the team. You have to learn who you have to invite for the meeting, how you have to moderate the meeting. Every green belt is a great moderator. You have to be effective in engaging others, asking the questions, also to control the meeting, to control the environment, to control the others. And this is why Lean Six Sigma is putting quite challenging targets for everyone, especially for the project leaders. But it's developing us. We are becoming simply better and better leaders, team member, team leader, project leader after each project we successfully conduct. So in the analysis phase, first we are asking the question why. And you remember what I just mentioned just before, that we are using the brainstorm session. So I hope it will be possible to draw the brainstorm. Sorry, I think it will be like this. Okay, not like this. Great. So this is a great brainstorm session. Oh no, sorry. Okay, here a contour is let's say red, and filling is without color, colorless, and then we have great. Okay, brainstorm. Yes, great. So brainstorm. And do you remember what I mentioned before? The main purpose for any brainstorm session is not the quality. It's not the quality of answers. The main task for any brainstorm session is the quantity. So you are focusing to have the highest quantity. More answers you will collect, the better your brainstorm session is. Okay? And you remember that when you are trying, so this are no, sorry. Here potential root causes. So these are potential root causes, and I just want to change the color of this. I don't want to have the red. I want to have a green. Green, is it green a color of hope or blue? Can you tell me? I don't remember. I'm always confused. For men, we live a simple life. We are not taking too much care about the different thousand of colors. We know only 3 type of colors. I will not repeat it because it's not polite. Anyway, so more more answers we get, we have more potential root causes. Very important for you as a project leader, a moderator here, is to take care not to give away or demolish all the boundaries, all the walls that can stay between your purpose, like answer why, and the results from the team. And I think we have to name them, all of them. Otherwise, we just forget. So one important thing is good. By the way, green tea from India. Really, I was in India for like one and a half year together when I could accumulate this. So I say hello to all my friends in India right now. Really, hello. I hope you are safe. You are healthy. You are safe, as well as your family. Okay. Anyway, so what you have to remember during the brainstorm session is you have to be a good moderator. So there is nothing worse than starting the team. Okay, let's do like this. There will be, I hope, four very important elements. Key success factors in brainstorm session. But why we know it's brainstorm session? It's not so clear. This is the brainstorm why we know it's brainstorm session? Because I write so. You see, and this PowerPoint is really, I don't understand. I mean, every time I write everything in English for a beginning of this presentation, and it simply cannot understand and remember that, yes, I want to check in English. Okay, brainstorm is one word. Okay, good. Good. So this is the brainstorm session, and good. So the moderator is very important. So you have to take the role. You have to also be a role model. You have to be an example of someone who understands what's happening. You have to also teach the other. You have to pass the knowledge how to behave during the brainstorm session. You have to be an example, and you have to know when to start, when to stop, when to correct some behavior, and so on. So you have to be a moderator. And again, this is an example how Lean Six Sigma is shaping us, because we are forced to be a moderator. To really have a success project, we have to be a moderators, and there is no other way. We have to learn to be a moderator. Of course, it's always good to learn from someone. Lean Six Sigma is not, during the Lean Six Sigma trainings and sessions, of course, it's very important, but if you have any good examples, if you have any role models from your professional life, from your past work, or whenever you learned this, you, of course, obviously allowed to use all the techniques with one assumption: they are working and they are good. So the moderator is one thing. You have to plan and organize. Plan and organize. What I mean, please do not ask people just few minutes before brainstorm session. You remember your main goal is what? You want them to feel comfortable. You want them to answer to find a lot of questions. You want them to find the best answers to your questions. So they have to be focused. They have to be focused on your task. They have to be focused on your purpose. And if you will organize an ad hoc meeting, they will still be at with their minds at the work they have just left. So it makes no sense. You have to invite them in advance. You have to find a good place. You have to organize the place. You will learn tomorrow that for the brainstorm session we need to have a very so-called like the working space, a piece of the whiteboard or blackboard or wall even, where you can work with the answers from your team. So the room, it must have to also have some how to say, features. Come on. I'm sorry. I know. No, when I moving my hands like this, they cut on somewhere else. So I have to find. Okay, I cannot. I can only say like this. I can. Okay. Anyway, doesn't matter. Or I will draw here a picture, a window. Or I can put here a frame, like a picture frame, and you will know that when I'm trying to go out of the frame, my head is cut. Also this way. Okay? Anyway, sorry. So, coming back to the brainstorm session, yes? So, two important subjects is the moderator, plan to organize. What else? Of course, you should avoid being criticism. I mean, you should avoid criticize, or you have to, how to say, moment, I'm just checking right now if something is changing. No. So you have to avoid criticism. You know why? Why it's important during the brainstorm session to avoid criticism? Can you tell me? Please think for a while. Okay? Because no one wants to be criticized. If anyone, I mean, this is our nature, a human nature. If we hear that we are wrong, or we are stupid, or we don't know, or we know nothing, or that we say something wrong, we likely say nothing more. We just stop ourselves, shut ourselves, take this posture of defense and say, no, if you think so, I will say nothing more. Forget. No way, not me. No, thank you very much. So, and again, your task is to generate as much of questions as possible. Therefore, you have to avoid criticism. Yes, for any, not for any cause, but you have to avoid the criticism. No, okay, no criticism. And this is like one of the first rule for any brainstorm session. Okay, I told you there were 4 elements of conducting a great brainstorm session, and I hope I didn't exaggerate. So the moderator, the plan and organize, no criticism, and what else? Oh, let's say be an example. Be an example. So if you would like to ask them, hey, let's come here and take the pens, or take the post-its, or write the answers, or put them on the wall. You have to be an example of doing so. So you have to be an example, and then you can really can expect a great result from the brainstorm session. Really, believe me. So once you are prepared for this, mentally prepared, you have organized, you know how to behave, and so on, you just invite the people for the brainstorm session. And you remember last Friday, I hope, or before last Friday, like Thursday, last time when we were discussing about the measure phase, I told you that going to Gemba is a very important element. Yes, you should never avoid going to Gemba, and the Gemba should be the first point when you ask and invite your team to. So what I recommend, just before the brainstorm session, you just spend a few minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, depending on the Gemba, and go to Gemba before that meeting, okay? So you just came back from Gemba, you have your fresh picture of the process in your mind. Now you listen to your, now you tell to the team what other findings you managed to collect, like the numbers, facts, figures, graphs, and so on. And you ask them, now I would like you to help me in finding the most probable potential, the most probable potential root causes for the problem. And this is when we start to collect and write the post-ticks. And I will put here an example of the post-ticks. Come on. The Microsoft is changing every time something in the office, and I'm surprised from time to time. Okay, what do we have? The pictures and the iPad, and there should be an example of brainstorm session somewhere, so I can show you what I mean by writing down the post-ticks. Okay, can we use this? Let's do so. Okay, great. So this is an example of the working board where we have divided this into something that I think will come tomorrow. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time today. For me, it was very important to explain to you why it is important to prepare ourselves for the brainstorm session. Tomorrow we'll talk about Ishikawa. Tomorrow we'll talk about how we organize the results of the brainstorm session, how we can narrow it down, because what will happen, you may not feel, okay, how can I do so? Like this? Great. Like this? Great. No. Okay, so this is what we will do in the brainstorm session. So first we take a chance to have as much as possible of answers, then we work out this answer and we narrow it down to the most probable root causes. And with this most probable root causes, we will use the highly effective and sophisticated statistical analysis. No, we will use a very simple tools, don't worry. So, thank you very much for this. Please write in the comments, do you like it or not? If you would like, if you're interested in having more information about how to conduct the brainstorm session or how to start the analyze phase, please also write in the comments. And I will wait with the next steps for tomorrow, so we can meet tomorrow and continue our journey in Lean Six Sigma. Today, actually, I didn't put anything into our Google spreadsheet, but it will come. It will come in the analyze. Where is the analyze phase? The analyze phase is lost. Nice. Okay, we have here. So we'll put here in the analyze phase all the results from the brainstorm session in the nice table, so you will be able to use it anyway. So thank you very much. If you found this interesting for you or your suppliers or your customers or your team members, please share it to the others, and please have no doubts, I will be here tomorrow and we continue our journey. Thank you very much for watching. Stay calm, stay safe, and stay healthy, far away from this bloody virus. Bye.